The Queen of Pop is officially back after 7 long years and she's doing better than ever. Right after her beginning of the Eternal Sunshine tour, people started talking on the internet, and of course, as we always know, it's nothing good. Seriously, she drops this amazing visuals, amazing raw vocals because she really is the vocalist of our generation. She's one of the best vocalists that the pop culture will ever know. Tour is incredible, all of the dancers are doing amazing, and what are you guys really focusing on? Her body.
Ariana Grande allegedly had to be hooked up to an IV for 24 hours just to receive nutrients to her body.
This, in a very haunting, disturbing way, is one heck of a photo.
If you scroll through TikTok or X right now, the comment sections are completely flooded with the people saying that they are so worried for her, crying about how skinny she looks and acting like they are their personal doctor. From a psychological standpoint, this is not real worry. This is just a pure delusion, and the people have completely lost their minds. Hello everyone, my name is B and I'm a psychologist whose job is to bring some realness into this fake world. Today we're going to be talking about the Queen of Pop, Ariana Grande, and we're going to be discussing why are people so obsessed with their looks. Ariana Grande is with no doubt the Queen of Pop, because she started her career as an actress on Victoria's and Sam & Cat before focusing entirely on music. She has won over 160 awards throughout her musical career out of more than 450 nominations, including 38 Guinness World Records for her insane streaming numbers, historic album debuts, and chart-topping achievements. In 2019, after her Sweetener tour ended, she announced she would take a break and focus on her acting career, and in 2020 she then got engaged to Dalton Gomez, who ended up cheating on her just a few years later. But we're not going to talk about this cheating scandal because her relationships are really none of our businesses. As we can all imagine, going through a big public divorce is not easy, especially when you've just been cast to play your favorite role since you were a kid, Glinda on Wicked. And that was the same exact moment when people started picking up on her looks. Ever since she started on Wicked and then announced her Eternal Sunshine tour, people kept hoping that the 2019 version of Ariana Grande would be back. But they were so mistaken. Not only were people not satisfied with her being back on stage and pulling these amazing vocals, but they also started calling her skinny, anorexic, and even too unhealthy to be able to finish the tour. Now, of course, if you don't have any psychology background, you may be thinking that people truly care about Ariana and they simply want her the best. But from someone who has been studying these cases over the past few years, I can tell you that none of this is people truly worrying about a person. What's really happening here, it's a concern trolling. Just to give it to you in simple words, it's when someone really wants to judge, criticize, or pick apart a celebrity, but they know that if they say, wow, she looks terrible, they will look like a bully. So instead, what their brain does to protect their own ego is that they mask this worrying as love. And they start saying stuff like, oh, my heart breaks for her, I really cannot stand her scene like this. Don't tell nobody that I told you this, but it's a psychological trick. It allows people to publicly dissect a woman's body from their couches while making themselves feel like good, caring people. The main reason why people are acting this crazy and this delusional over Ariana is because of a term called the parasocial relationship, which I feel like at this point it's the most covered topic on this channel. Ariana has been famous since she was a teenager on Nickelodeon. Millions of fans have literally grown up with her. You have listened to her music through your own breakups, you watched her go through massive public traumas, and you also see her on your phone screen almost every single day. And because of that, your brain makes a huge mistake. It creates this fake sense of closeness and entitlement, and the people genuinely think that because they bought their albums, they have a right to demand an explanation about her weight and her health. The main reason why people are being so delusional, it's also because they don't want to accept the truth, which is that Ariana will always be a stranger to them. Because believing that you can actually diagnose someone's mental health and physical health from a 10 seconds blurry video from the back of an arena, maybe after she had just performed and she was pretty much tired, that's not concern. That's simply you being delusional. You guys don't have boundaries when it comes to Ariana. What makes all of this even more delusional and boundaryless behavior is the fact that Ariana multiple times has published videos asking you guys not to comment on her body. But what the internet does is that it completely ignores her boundaries because you think that your opinion matters more than her own comfort. And the absolute craziest part of this whole discourse is how people keep comparing her 2019 body to how she looks now. They look at pictures of her from a sweetener era and say, look at how healthy she used to be, why can't she look like that again? And it's so incredibly backward and out of touch because she literally explicitly told us that her 2019 body was the unhealthiest version of her life. She openly admitted that she was on heavy doses of antidepressants at the time while drinking constantly on them and eating terribly. And she also was at the absolute lowest point of her mental health because she was surviving massive traumas as the Manchester attack. The body people are romanticizing and begging her to go back to was actually a physical manifestation of her depression. Now, years later, she has done the inner work, the outer work, she has become a woman, she has healed all of her wounds, and you guys keep comparing her to her lowest point of her life. Are you guys okay? And now I want to go to the second point, which is why are people so delusionally obsessed with their looks? Why can't people simply admit that they were wrong all along and she really is doing better than 8-7 years ago? Psychologically, this happens because of something called the phenomena of confirmation biases and overvalued ideas. When people spend hours scrolling through social media, zooming in photos and reading conspiracy threads and talking to other fans who share the same obsession, their brains build a rigid and unshakable narrative. This narrative becomes a core part of their daily routine and identity, and when a person becomes that deeply invested in a delusion, their brain literally perceives any contradictory information as a threat. If they were to admit that Ariana is actually healthy and they are wrong, they have to face a very uncomfortable psychological truth that they wasted weeks, if not years, of their lives obsessing over a lie. That they also crossed the serious boundaries and acted like a bully under the guise of being saviors. And to avoid that massive blow to their own ego, their brain doubles down on the delusions. They filter out her statements, ignore her medical privacy, and even invent new conspiracies to keep the narrative alive. People like this would rather see a celebrity suffering in front of their eyes than simply admitting that their own parasocial fixation is out of hand. The internet also ignores her reality that she shows us every single day because of another phenomenon called the cognitive dissonance. When people have a rigid idea of what the health looks like and the actual person tells them, hey, your definition of health was actually my rock bottom, it makes their brain so uncomfortable. And once again, instead of admitting that they were wrong all along, they go in denial. They decide at some point that Ariana must be in denial as well, just as they are. She must be lying to herself and to us because she really can't be doing good at the moment. And why is that? Because everyone all of a sudden has a medical degree. Wow, how crazy is that? People are throwing around serious clinical words like eating disorder, anorexia, and body dysmorphia like they're just a casual slang to them. And this is so wrong. First of all, because you guys go dehumanize Ariana. You dehumanize another human being. She stops being a human being and becomes just a clinical case study for people to argue about on social media. Second, it completely cheapens these actual illnesses. Eating disorders are devastating, painful, and life-threatening mental health struggles. And turning them into gossip fodder to talk about a pop star is insulting to the ordinary people who are actually fighting those battles in silence every single day. And honestly, this constant obsessive surveillance is doing way more damage to the mental health of the people watching than anything else. Because when a young viewer scroll through these comments and see a massively successful woman being picked apart and called frail and unhealthy, they start projecting those exact insecurities onto their own bodies. At the end of the day, when it comes to Ariana Grande, you guys literally have no boundaries. And I don't even think you guys truly understand what that woman has gone through since she became a huge pop star. Besides the Manchester attack, you guys seem to forget about Max Miller's passing. The same day of his death, attacking Ariana, saying that she was the cause of his death. No wonder why that woman was on heavy antidepressants, was also having eating disorders, and was drinking alcohol every single day. We are talking about the same Ariana that has dedicated over 10 songs to her audience. She announced I Hate That I Made You Love Me, I think a month ago already, which is her new single from a brand new album, Petal, coming on the 31st of July 2026. People started noticing that the song was not really about relationships, but it was about the parasocial relationships that people have with Ariana. But then what really shocked me was the second verse when she says, "What's happening now? You studied my crown and borrowed my body, warm, kissed by the sun, then cold like the wind, a bee stuck in honey." And that alone represents the parasocial relationship that people, her fans, have with her. I think you guys forget that celebrities are just very normal human beings. Therefore, they're gonna be affected when a huge wave of criticism gets to them. When she was in her 20s, she was called too fat. And now you guys are calling her too thin. You want her 2019 version to be back, but at the same time, you don't want her to be depressed. You guys are fucking hypocrites. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you need to literally open your eyes and understand that she's a stranger. She also gave you We Can't Be Friends, Shut Up, Focus. Oh, and before I forget, yes, she also gave you Yes and, where there was a scene in the music video where she was also directly talking to her friends, and the verse says something like, "Do not comment on my body, do not reply." No matter why this woman doesn't want to be on tour anymore, because you don't respect her. You don't even seem to be happy for the fact that she's back after 7 years. And when she came out with The Wicked, she was so happy because that was her childhood dream. And what did you guys have to say about that? You guys commented about her relationship with Cynthia Erivo, saying that they were acting too bizarre and they were acting like lesbians while they were just supporting each other. She gave you a song entitled Shut Up so that you could shut the fuck up. And you guys still don't want to listen to her. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you like clinical psychologies and influencers and celebrities, then please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button and never miss a video. And I'm gonna see you in the next one.